Now I should point out that my example worked because I picked a specific video format and I'm testing it in a specific browser. In fact, if you're using a different browser to preview your files, you might have found that your video didn't work at all. And that's because, as I said before, not all of our browsers support all the video formats. Let me go back down to my working files. Remember, we have our video in 3 different formats right now. The Theora OGG format is supported by Firefox, and you can also view videos of this type in the Opera and Chrome browsers as well. But this video wouldn't work in the Safari browser or the Explorer browser. The MP4 file that we started with is actually supported as is by the Explorer, Chrome, and Safari browsers. And the WebM format video is viewable on Firefox, Chrome, and Opera browsers. So as you can see, we've got a strange mix and a tough choice to make. Now let's try this out. The way I've set this up, my video works fine in the Firefox browser, but if I go out to the Safari browser, which I have out here, let me just take my tryout video. I'll drag it on top of Safari so that it launches it. And you can see that it tries to pull up the video, but the area showing the video is blank because the format's wrong. Now we can fix that. Let me go back over to my document, and instead of using the Theora OGV type, let's reset this to the MP4. When we change the source to a different file type, we need to change the type to match. And for this one, the type is video/MP4 instead of OGG. Now let's save that change. I'll go back to my Safari browser and refresh the page. And you can see that now the video plays normally. In fact, even the autoplay is working and the controls are down there at the bottom. Now we can go back to our Firefox browser though. I'll refresh the page here. And you can see that by fixing it in one browser, I've broken it in the other. Well, until our browsers fix the video formats and all pick the same one, we've got a different way that we're going to be writing our pages to make sure that we can accommodate all of them. So let me go back to my document again. And this time, what I'm going to do is add another tag to the inside of the video tag. I'll go right inside the tag here, and it doesn't matter whether I'm before the text or after it, and add a source tag. What we can do with the source tag is we can supply multiple sources for the video. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the source and the type attributes, and I'm going to remove them from the video tag. We'll cut them out, and I'll just paste them into the source tag. Our source tag is empty, so I'll put a self-closer at the end. Now, our video tag and our source tag should work just like it did before. The only difference is we've got the source and type attributes inside the video tag instead of as attributes directly attached to the tag. Now, if we want to use multiple videos as our source, we simply add more source tags. So here's what I'll do. I'll select the first source tag that we made and copy it, and then I'll go down below and add in 2 more. For the second source tag, we'll change that video to be the Theora OGV video that we made earlier. And of course, the type for that is video/OGG. And for the last one, we'll use the WebM video that we created earlier. And the type for that is video WebM. Now what will happen each time our page is opened up in a browser, the browser will look at each one of the source attributes and attempt to load the video. If it doesn't understand that particular type of video, it'll skip it and go to the next, and it'll keep going on down till it finds one it can load, at which point it'll stop. By adding all 3 video types into our video tag, we're making sure that our page is visible in all browsers. Let's save this change, and let's go back out and test it out. I'll go to Firefox first. This is where we broke the video. And you can see now it's skipping down to the point where it plays the rest of the video and sets it all up. We're not seeing 3 copies of the video either. It's simply going to the first one it can play and playing it. If we open up Safari, we should see the same thing. I'll refresh the browser, and you can see that it's playing here just like it did before. Our browser's compatibility also extends into the few of the attributes that you can use. We can try that out with one attribute called loop. If we notice, both of our browsers are playing the video, and they're using the autoplay to automatically start the video, and the controls attribute to add the controls. Well, we can add in one more attribute called loop, And this attribute is also a Boolean one, so we can either use the shorthand, which is just the attribute itself, or we can set it up as loop equals loop if we want to write it the long way. I'm going to save this change, and let me go back to my Safari browser first. I'll refresh the page, and you can see that autoplay starts it playing, and if I let it roll all the way through, once it gets to the end this time, it should loop and start playing again. That's exactly what it does. I'll use the pause control, and let's switch over to our Firefox browser. Now, the Firefox browser that I'm using currently doesn't support the loop attribute. We can see that by refreshing the page, and we can see the autoplay start up again, but this time when it reaches the end of the video, it's just going to stop like before. There you can see it parked right at the end. Now, what this tells us is that we will have to keep up with new browsers as they come out and check out what features are supported and which parts of HTML5 we can start using on our pages.